2025 audit will be starting soon. So after missing a few years of audits, we have that whole mess all cleaned up and we're right on schedule now. So that took a lot of work, especially for Michael, had to go through, years ago information to try to dig it out of that laptop right there. So good job on that, Michael. Total Fire, who's taking care of our safety systems here. They've got pretty much all of the major issues taken care of. We don't hear the alarms that we did for a while. However, there's still some gremlins in this 25-year-old system that kind of rear their ugly heads here and there. And we don't have really any major alarms going off, but Michael gets off in the middle of the night. And short of completely rebuilding the entire system, we're in pretty good shape. So I think we'll probably just keep limping along the way we are, unless the board decides that let's get a quote for the whole system, and I don't know what that would be, hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm sure. So I don't think it's too bad right now. What do you guys think? How's it been over your building?
It's been fine. It's been fine. Is it mostly the alarm or is it the alarms?
Alarm. It's something talking to something.
It's a lot of the devices going into trouble.
Gives
Gives the supervisory a call to me or Michael.
And we had a panic this morning, but it ended up being the adjoining building. So
Jim, we're trying to get like a tick.
Oh, as soon as it went off, I was like, gotta get
Good job. So I know I get asked this a lot, what's happening with the sports courts? Oh man, I don't know how many hours I've spent on this since our last meeting. Many hours on this. I'm still kind of playing referee between the engineering company and the company that is we've hired to do the actual refinishing. I think I've got that part managed fairly well right now. Where we're kind of hung up is with the city zoning department. There's 3 different offices that need to sign off on any changes. Or even just, not even changes, keeping things the way they are. They made you go through a fine tooth comb. And I visited all 3 departments and everybody kind of said, well, you gotta go talk to that department. And that department said, oh, you gotta go talk to that department. Well, yesterday morning, I'm back at department number 1. So, trying to get some information out of them is very difficult. Nobody wants to commit to anything. We're just looking for some guidance. What the major issue is they cannot find any documentation in 2019 when we went from 2 tennis courts to 1 tennis court and 2 pickleball courts. So that seems to be giving them a lot of heartburn. But the second time around, yesterday, dealing with this one person, she's in planning. I said, I begged her. I said, well, I need some sort of guidance here. I have a board of directors meeting tomorrow, and I don't want to just tell them I know nothing yet. And I don't really know much, but I'm going to tell you what little I do know. We had a design for we can fit 4 pickleball courts in there and 1 tennis court. I think that's a major hurdle that we're not going to get over. Just talking to everybody down there and what their attitude is, because it's a change in 2021. They made an ordinance that there are no pickleball courts allowed in any mixed-use downtown in the zip code community. However, these courts were put in 2019, and I've got a semi-positive attitude that they're going to let us replace what we had, as it was a couple years before, and I'm not saying we can do it, but it's not for the lack of effort, I'll tell you that. This has just been killing me. It's been killing me. So that's where we are right now. We resubmitted another application yesterday based on that. And we're just gonna see how it goes, and all I can say is the wheels turn slowly down there, really slowly, so I'm on it every day. I mean, I've spent 20 hours on this one project, and I'm nowhere, but I just let you know, it isn't for lack of effort, I'm really trying. So, that said, I've got a little glimmer of hope. Worst comes to worst, they just shut us down, we put 2 tennis courts in. So that's what it is, kind of out of our control. Condominium sales, we're getting back into the season here. We've got 18 units currently for sale, and 4 have sold in the past couple of months. The West Spa over there in your building, Tom, was leaking heavily. The way we found out that it was leaking heavily is a truck hit the drainage pipe under the pool, and it looked like a little Niagara Falls over there. I mean, it was really pouring down. Did you get a chance to see that?
It's happened since 2000, happens every year.
Yeah, but it was really pouring down. Well, it took us a little while, but we isolated where the water was coming from, and that was coming from the spa. The spa was losing, I don't know, 50 gallons a day or whatever it was at least. So what we did is we took out all of the lights and all the fittings, and we put new fittings, new lights, resealed all of the areas, and there's still a little bit of a leak there. It's not bad, it's an auto fill spot, and that's just something we're gonna put off for right now. And at the end of, the season here, we'll take another look at it, see if it's something we really wanna do, because that involves tearing up the floor of that deck. Everything is in concrete, and you might know a little bit more about this, but we gotta tear it up. There's no way to get underneath that thing. Tom's family built this place, am I right on that, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so that's why if it's not too bad, I'm thinking we'll kind of live with a little bit of a leak, because it won't kill us. The pool heaters here at this pool, we have 3, 2 are electric and 1 is gas. And it's been really cold, and the gas one has been going into default. They were here working on it yesterday. Where are we right now?
So the gas heater was going into a service mode, like a service fault mode, and shutting down. The 2 electric ones can't keep up overnight with the cold. Well, at first we had a flow issue, which was turning all 3 heaters into a service fault. So there were no heaters for that first really cold night last week. Then I got the pool company out here to get them back up and running, and now they're trying to play catch up. And it's been really hard for them to actually catch up with a 70,000 gallon pool and only 2 electric heaters. Right now, all 3 of them are going because I reset the gas heater, and I have the pool company coming out tomorrow to see what we can do about this gas heater, see if there's parts need to be replaced on it, what's wrong with it.
Now, do we know, is that gas heater still under warranty? Because it's fairly new.
They will let me know that.
Okay.
That's what they're gonna do, and then get me in touch with Pentair if it is.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So that's the reason that this pool is not toasty warm, but again, it's something we're working pretty hard on.
Well, it's 77 degrees, but I agree it's not toasty.
If you're from New Hampshire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Swimming in the ocean, man.
Yeah, sure is. We got some new bike racks, put in both garages, and we, cleared out some of the older bikes that were all rusty and dusty and whatnot. What happens frequently is, people move out, they've got an older bike and they don't really think too much about that bike, they just leave it there. So right now, I don't know about, your garage over there, Ron, but is there some openings?
Yeah, I was saying to Michael, there is, but it's still tight, you know?
Yeah.
It's that one little section, you could, I don't even know, I've seen those bikes move in years.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so,
Well, I can see some that you think ought to be, put into storage, just let Michael know. We'll get those out of there, there's no reason that they're taking up space, but we've got some extra, racks right now. We've got a few openings in this garage over here. We'll see how long that works. I've had multiple requests from homeowners over the past year or two that the drop-off place or area for FedEx, UPS, and whatnot in the lobbies, right now it's just a little bench down there. And things get scattered all over the place, especially here in building 5, because this is the commercial drop-off for the association as well. And they're all over the floor, spread all over the place. And we've looked for quite some time for a piece of furniture, like a sideboard type of a thing that will provide a lot of area for the packages on top and area underneath for large packages. And there's nothing, we couldn't find anything available that we can purchase. So actually, John and I met yesterday with a carpenter who specializes in cabinet and furniture making. And, we want something built really nice and look good anyway. We're trying to bring this place up a little bit. And so he's working on some designs. We're looking at perhaps doing some stone or some sort of countertop thing on the top. That might be a little out of our price range, but at any rate, we're working through that. So what the plan is to leave one bench on one side and make a nice area for UPS package storage there, so they're not all over the floor. And it'd be nice not have to go through the pile to find yours on the bottom. And one item I think we as a board need to address here, and I haven't talked with you about this, Michael, yet. It just kind of popped in my head this morning when I was writing this, is the lobby doors, including the doors to the walkways that bridges that come over here. Those doors, they're the original 25-year-old doors. They're not perfectly square, perfectly fitting into the frames, and they stick quite frequently and don't close by themselves. And I think it's time we look at completely replacing those, because we've heard complaints from every building that, well, the door didn't close by itself, I had to pull it. And so we send Jeff and his team to go do what they can with this 25-year-old. And when when you're not here on weekends, I can grab my trusty can of WD-40 and a paper towel, and I lube up that one right there, just so it'll close by itself. Because that's a security issue. So I think maybe that's something we ought to look at. Michael, if you could get some quotes.
Of course.
On replacing all of these doors.
Yep.
Because I think they've outlived their usefulness. And that's something we can vote on in maybe the next meeting, we'll see. Okay, lastly, at the last meeting, we had a resident ask if flowers could be added to the amenities deck. And we contacted Interior Plantscapes, who currently install and maintains the plants that we have out there, and asked them if they could do that as well. And they don't provide a service that would be every day or every other day for something like flowers. They're only here twice a month. And that's when they do the watering, and they've got the right materials in the bottom of those big pots out there, so they don't need to be watered but once every 2 weeks. So they don't have any service for that. But that said, is that something that the board is that something we wanna pursue?
You have some over at the other pool. You do have some flowers that are in those big pots with the. I did see somebody out there watering them, like a resident or something. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
What did I get that?
But is that something, that we wanna pursue?
I don't think it's a bad idea, pending course, because it'll add more color. To the areas up here, so I would be in favor for it, like anything else, what would be the cost? The thing is gonna be getting somebody to water.
Yeah, our irrigation system, we limped through a year ago. And what we had to do is we had to put the system on absolute minimum just to keep them alive because it was just leaking too bad. But yeah, that would be it, is that? I don't know, how about the rest of you? How about the rest of you?
I wouldn't be opposed to it, and again, I'd like to see what the cost is, yeah, it may be citizenable, take away from staff time here. To maintain that.
I just want to say I've heard very positive things about the looks of it now. I mean, it's really looks nice compared to
I agree.
where we were at.
It does. Yeah, just using the color.
Well, is that something you wanna take on, Ron, and look into that? Okay, sure, awesome. Thank you. All right, I said last week, didn't I, so we're gonna, be done.
No, there's another lastly.
What's that?
There's another lastly. Collections.
Oh. Yeah, Michael, fill us in on collections, would you please?
Yeah, we've got 4 people who haven't paid their first quarter assessments. That makes us collected at about 98%.
So we're doing pretty well with that, and we always have done well with that here, we always have the 1 or 2. But there are associations where 40%, and Michael was with that, some of the associations where, just chasing dozens and dozens of people down because they're months and months overdue. So we're generally in pretty good shape here. Anything else I forget?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me look at that. So, we're going to approve the board of directors meeting minutes from 12/7/2025. Approve.
Second.
Okay, you made a motion?
Mhm.
Okay. In a second. All right, we got that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hey, John, online. Can you hear us? John?
Sorry, got a very bad connection here.
We just took a vote on approving the minutes from our last meeting.
Yeah, aye. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda is painting proposal with a deep pool deck railing. We had what we requested, Michael requested from contractors is 100% removal of the existing paint that is on there, and nobody wanted to take it down to bigger meadows, except for what was the name of the
Angel painting.
Yeah, Angel Painting, and we had them do a test area, up beside the stairs of the pool here, which looked really well. And we did get, another proposal from the Prestige that they said they're just gonna stuff it up and knock off the stuff that's flaking. So it's not anywhere near as good, but it's half the price, so. I don't know if this is something we wanna move forward with or not, but that's 26,000 versus 48,000 to take it all down to bare metal. And even taking it down to bare metal is not going to, be like the original factory baked finish.
Do you know if there's a life expectancy in the difference?
I don't.
I don't.
I know that it's 2 different types of painting. The original's a powder coat, which
Yeah,
gives
this
you,
is direct amount.
which is direct amount. This is like a acrylic paint or like a oil-based paint. Because it has to be oil on that, but,
To answer your question, down here in this environment,
yeah,
it can be 2 years, it can be 4 years. It just is what it is.
Okay.
It's, luckily, we're not right on the salt water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brackish water here, but typically on the beach, they don't last in years.
And on the section that, sorry,
No, go ahead.
on the section that they did do, Angel Painting did, they took it all the way down to base metal and then they put 3 base coats on and then 2 top coats. So how long it lasts, I don't know.
The whole part of the powder coating is prep, just like anything in paint. So if there's anything on those railings, that's why it's so hard to get them done in the field that way. I only do it in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
But I saw one company want to take the rails off and put new rails on.
Well, we asked for that too, so, no, we asked for that just to see what the cost was. And that was, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of hundred.
$190,000, so.
But nowhere in there, they say they're temporary railings.
No,
So they can't just leave it.
but at any rate, yeah, actually, 200,000, 198,000, so, you know.
And what was that for? Just the pool deck?
Yeah.
For 200 grand?
It's about a
800.
Yeah.
About 1,000 linear feet we have up here.
Did you mean the other pool?
No, just for these people.
Because it's right outside my. It's like the-
So, into that question is, we can do this here, this is a separate building, this is all ours up here. That is attached to building 4, that involves state funding. So we just can't. It's attached to your building, part of building 4, this is not attached to building 5. Separate section that we have 100% control over this building right here, we don't have.
The difference between the two, do they give any guarantee or life expectancy, you know, like a 5-year or nothing? Because when you paint over paint that's still there or it hasn't been taken down, doesn't usually work that well. And that's, I mean, so to spend $26,000 and you're gonna leave, you know, paint or the finish that's there and paint it, they wanna take that right down to, whether it's wood, metal, whatever it is, you wanna take that down and get rid of that. Because how's the new stuff gonna adhere to that?
It's hugely labor intensive because it's all done by hand. They're not
Nobody wants to paint.
they're not up here sandblasting. It's
Yeah.
all done by hand.
We only got one quote to do that, and that was that higher one, it's double the cost, and I had no idea, what direction that we wanna go with, any direction on. What do you guys think?
Is there a recommendation from staff that you're more comfortable with?
No.
No, I was asking you.
Yeah. I don't so fast.
Hey, John, we just work here.
You're okay.
Starting, you know, like with this area that we control is good because we can have a controlled environment, it's done, and then we can take it from there if we want to do the rest of the, when we get the chance to do the rest of the railings. I think replacing all the railings would be not cost effective, really.
Big money.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tom?
The other issue is there's a lot of.
We just talking about this. And that is every single piece of railing that you see on this deck, will be redone. Carpal tunnel.
Well, here we're paying 100%, right?
Yep.
The other places won't.
Yep.
I do wrong. And do that.
wait until we make the buildings and look for out here.
Well, maybe the next time we can do this.
Okay.
I agree, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. I don't think you do it half-ass, and then that's not the way I think I would do it if I was painting my house. I wouldn't do a project like that.
But even if you did the $48,000 one, they're trying to do something in the field that should be done.
But I don't know, it's when we finally do the building. If. I think we're gonna do a field thing with that too, I think.
Well, the way we were looking at it was having them come in and take the railings off, take them back. Do them just like they were originally and then put them back on.
Okay. The one issue, because we visited this before, the one issue with that was to there's a lot of lanais that have tile on them. So you can't remove the rail, from that little foot, because it's that tile.
You can just remove the tile. It's not an easy thing to do, it's just one of those things that.
Did we get a quote on that?
We painted in 2017, we got a quote. We got a couple of different.
Yeah.
But I think to do what Angel wants to do here was almost $200, 300,000. And we were close to 290 for the cost of living in paradise.
All right, gentlemen, what do we want to do? Here. We, I guess
I comment on Tom's suggestion on waiting till we do the buildings. And that probably brings us back to Jason on where we are with whole other issue.
It's really a mess up there though. Everybody, you touch it and you're glitter, yes. What if you did half and half, and that way you could test the longevity of either one to work on the buildings?
Well, it's not a bad idea, but the idea is that, once you start removing all those railings, say we do the rest of the building, that's the problem, because you're gonna have to put up barriers. Then you have to lay eyes, and so you can get it done on site, and you did this, but when Mitch actually brought it up, but it's not a bad idea, but let's see how this comes out. As long as you do it the right way,
And then we can,
and then if it's good, and it's really good, then we can do that with the rest of the building.
What she was talking about, 500 feet all the way down to 500 feet on top.
Oh, you mean the whole
Is
process?
that what you were asking?
For
I
here.
see the two different processes.
Yeah. I would be not in favor of doing it the half-ass way, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you just painted over it, it would be fine. But
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You're doing 40, I'm thinking it was 48.
What's that?
Pete,
I don't know, I'm sorry, that's
I'm torn, I don't know.
My gut would tell me that you pay a 48, you have it taken down to the metal. You put 3 coats of primer on it, 2 coats of.
Yeah, I agree with John on that.
And then we can assess that in some, which is double the other price. Otherwise, we're doing 5 more years, you think. Or less, yeah.
And, we don't know the longevity of this either, like, Tom said. 2 years, 15 years, who knows? My goal here, and then this board's goal, not just mine, is, kind of make improvements, all the time, and we're kind of limited right now on the main buildings, because of our business partner. But any,
So let's do this, let's assume that we won't be spending the money on the buildings for a year, that's a safe assessment, okay? We spend the extra money here, the $48,000, we'll make that money up in interest. In a year, and then we can assess the ratings on the buildings. Determine if you want to go this way or do something more powder coating, or you take them off.
input from the crowd?
I say, don't paint over paint. It was a different formula 25 years ago. It won't stick. Do it right.
Mhm.
Maybe take it out in sections and let them take it. I don't know what their capacity is, but maybe you take out, the back and then you take out the side. Do it right.
Otherwise it would look like I painted it.
If they remove the parts of the railing, do they have to close the pool? That's.
Well,
Very
temporary,
have to put temporary really.
well, let's take a vote, let's find out what everybody thinks, all right? Let's,
I'll make a motion to spend the 48,500 with Angel, where he actually takes it down to bare metal, does it in place. And puts a 3/4 primer on, the 2 coats of.
I'll second.
any more discussion? All right, motion has been made and seconded to spend 48,000, that Angel do all the repainting here. Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Yay?
Oh, you voted yes.
Oh. You got better hearing. All right, well, at any rate, all those in favor of spending the 48 and getting this up, say, yeah. So it's 4 and about 5. Unanimous. All right,
No, it wasn't unanimous. I didn't vote in favour.
oh, you did not. Okay, so 4 yeas and 1 nay.
Is there a benefit or a classic?
No.
It's a little trickier doing it off season than rains every day.
That's true.
Close one.
Oh, we talked to them. That little. Sorry. Wow. So. The. Next is official records. Board member Creeds has formally requested that his December 29th notification to the board be included in the official records of the association. So, John, the floor is yours. I don't think it's fun. I couldn't figure out hey or nay, but yeah.
Just. Finish it off in the meeting.
Yeah, I think so, because we can't hear him very well. So we'll table this until the next meeting. John had just requested that something be entered into the official record. And we can't hear and yeah, that's not gonna happen. All right, we're down to council. And I stole none of your thunder this time.
I know a lot of these projects are on hold, so we can get this resolved and get Bayfront to contribute as required. So, as you all know, we filed our complaint. It was served on Bayfront, but rather than responding substantively to the lawsuit with an answer or affirmative defenses, they pursued some litigation gamesmanship. They filed a motion to dismiss. And that motion is not set for hearing until March 6th. So we'll argue before the judge, but they claim we needed to have a unit owner vote before pursuing this lawsuit. And of course, we've argued no, we don't. It specifically says we don't need it if we're seeking to enforce the governing documents. These are in fact governing documents, and even Bayfront Inc.'s counsel called them governing documents in the interpretation letter that, kicked this whole lawsuit off. So it's just a bit of silliness to, again, delay. And we will get through this hearing. They will be asked to, or directed to file answer and affirmative defenses forthwith, and we'll proceed with litigation. But we're sort of waiting for that date as of this point. But for what it's worth, we have filed a request for discovery upon them. So we've demanded production from them of certain documents, including financial information, county books and records and the like. I don't expect them to comply without us filing a motion to compel, but nonetheless, we're doing what we can to move the case forward. So that's where we are. And the next date of significance is this hearing on March 6th. So any questions about any of this? What's going
I have
on?
a basic question, of course, Jason, what's their general argument?
So the general,
argument it has, and we're not answering.
yeah, the general argument, of course, we don't agree with it, is for 20 plus years, we've had a set of covenants that govern both the condominium property and Bayfront Inc. as to who maintains what, who's responsible for paying for what, and it's worked out just fine. But as of recently, we pursued Bayfront Inc. about painting the buildings, which those are shared facilities and it's a shared expense. And I don't believe that Bayfront Inc. wanted to pay for or could pay for that cost. And so they looked for any reason that might get them out of it. Under the existing governing documents, there is no way out of it. So they asserted a right to interpret what they believe these documents to read. And they suggest that there is a conflict between the declaration of condominium and the declaration of covenants. There is no such conflict. And in interpreting, they have flat out unilaterally amended the governing documents to change what are the shared facilities and shared expenses. So we say, no, you may have the right to interpret where there is no way to reconcile the two provisions, but for 20 years it existed just fine. So clearly there is a way to reconcile, and your ability to interpret doesn't give you the right to unilaterally amend and change the documents the way you want to. So it is a far out argument, complex, and I don't know if their legal counsel actually believed it would work. But nonetheless, it is maybe buying Bayfront Inc. time. I don't know if they figure the longer they wait, something will happen, or if they have other things in mind that might come in and save them and give the ability to pay. But that's how this came about. That is their argument. We believe it doesn't have merit, so we just need to keep pushing forward through the process and have a judge say, no, this argument has no merit to it. You are liable for your share of the common expenses. The buildings need to be painted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what it is.
How many times can they postpone?
We're creative.
Yeah.
So it's there's when you're the one playing the games, it's gamesmanship. When you're on the other side, we call it strategy. Yeah, so they file the motion, and of course then the hearing doesn't get set for months off. We have filed requests for discovery. It will likely wait to the last possible minute, we'll request extension after extension, and then in the end file objections to all of our requests, which won't have any merit, and we will have to set motions to compel for hearing. So yes, litigation is supposed to take no more than 12 months in this case. But there are always creative ways to delay, and it'll be our job to keep pushing. Oh, yes, sir.
So if we prevail in the end, what does it compel him to do?
So our hope and expectation is that a judge issues an order that says, there is no conflict, there is no right to interpret, and there's certainly no right to unilaterally amend. Therefore, the documents shall stay as is, and the documents require Bayfront to, pursue these maintenance responsibilities, including painting, waterproofing, and the like, and that they are responsible for a certain percentage of the cost, and you all are responsible for a certain percentage of the cost. So he's trying to push certain responsibilities and certain costs 100% onto you all, and we're expecting a judge to say no, that's not what the documents say, and then there comes the practicality of, well, what if he's simply unable? Does it push Bayfront into bankruptcy? I don't know. Or what if they just continue to refuse? Maybe we could seek the court's, leave to appoint you all, this association, as the operating owner, and allow you to have the authority to move forward with some of these projects. So the first step is a court order saying, these are the documents, this is what you're required to do, Bayfront Inc. And if they still fail and don't proceed, then we'll seek some other remedy, such as maybe the one I just mentioned.
At the end of the day, if he's unable to pay for unknown financial reasons or whatever his financial issues are, then we could lien his properties at that point in time if you get a judge's order that he has to pay.
Well, yeah, let me first, point out that we have no reason to believe he is bankrupt, but if somebody is physically unable to do it because they don't have the money to do it, that's one reason we might run into that problem. So I don't have any reason to believe that. But if it's that reason or some other reason, they just cannot, move forward, I believe we would actually need to obtain a judgment. I don't believe there is a lien right necessarily.
Okay.
But I'd look into that, more closely. But whenever you receive a money judgment against an individual or entity, that judgment can be used to lien real property, other tangible and even intangible assets.
Okay, thank you.
So you kind of briefly touched on this. But according to our governing document, Bayfront Inc. is responsible for managing these big projects, the roof, the paint, and whatnot. And that's why, we can't move ahead ourselves, because our documents state that they need to manage this. And so if he's just like, I'm not gonna do it, then from what I gather, then we take him to court and see if we can get the court to.
So this lawsuit is all part and parcel of that.
Mhm.
So not only will we seek a sort of an order or declaration from the court as to what the documents require of the parties, but also in order that the parties perform as required. And if they fail, then we would seek some sort of equitable remedy from the court, which might be, hey, you all have the authority to proceed with these projects, in order to protect the collateral, right? Protect the property, ensure that no further damage, occurs, that waterproofing and painting, so.
But along that line, because under that, what happened in Miami with the building collapse and the whole new inspections, the walkways are a structural issue.
Yeah.
And that's what Florida court, or Florida law is citing, that's structural, you can't neglect that.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be something that the judge I shouldn't say that, where we'll make a decision on, because now we're not just talking about facade or, makeup, we're talking about structural. And that could cause damage or loss.
That's right. Well, if the, building envelope is not waterproof, then you can have, rusting and erosion of, rebar beneath your post-tension cables, spalling, all sorts of, negative, impacts. And so, all of this, is significant. So it's not, not just the walkways, but, even getting in the building envelope, could have, incredibly adverse effects. So water getting into the burn. Gotcha.
Yeah, we have plants growing in cracks and whatnot. The water's getting in there.
So can we add in, if that would be the right term, something like that, some kind of, time is of the essence.
Yeah, no, the judges don't typically issue orders that are open-ended, you know, there will usually be a time period for, you know, complying, so. We would expect if we get that far. That,
Because it is, right, we have already there,
that's right. That's right.
but it takes them a year to, you know, resolve this and then, you know, from the period of time to. Getting moved and be 100 years down the road.
Yes.
That's
right.
But your last thing you said, which I think is a little encouraging, is that even if the judge, like you said, says, you know what, I'm gonna give them the authority to go ahead with the projects, because while we're still waiting for a settlement, if we get that, at least then we, as a board, can move ahead and start getting these projects done.
Yes, because I think that was the concern. There have been instances in the past, over the past 2 decades, where the association has stepped in, performed maintenance required to be done by the operating owner, Bayfront Inc., paid for the cost, billed them the cost, and fortunately, you were able to recover in the end. The concern is you do that again and you seek payment, then of course Bayfront Inc. could argue, well, wait a minute. The documents require that I do the work and therefore I did not authorize it, I am not paying you, and then you end up on the hook for the total cost. So I think you sort of maybe avoided the risk and wisely decided, let's let a court for all. And then you don't run the risk of performing, paying, and then not being able to get that.
Well, we did it 3 times, so we made it run out of luck.
Yeah, and considering, you know, what we kind of know going on here, I don't think we want to do that again. Why, we get this man sitting
Any other questions or thoughts? Okay.
I have one question for you. If this does go to trial, you'll be the one that's in court.
I'm the person. I will
You're
be
the person?
Yes.
He's the man. Thank you very much, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
Any other business, John? All right, homeowners, comment.
I have a question. You said something about those doors that might need to be replaced. Is there a way they could have a code on it instead of us using the green key? From the garage into the main building?
There's lots of things that can happen, the last board pursued some way to fall like that. Yeah, that would be, you know, that would require every door in the building to go with it.
It's just that, you know, right now you don't really need your green key since we have codes,
Yeah,
but you leave your garage, you need a key to get in it, so it's just, you know.
yeah, no, that's definitely an option. We kind of, the last time I was on the board, we kind of looked into that. And, you know, it's 6 figures, a lot of money.
Okay, just be one code that, you know, just,
No,
And all of us
no,
all
fob,
phones.
you know, we were looking at the
oh, you
fob,
look at the fob, you
Change
do
it.
with that, okay.
yeah, but, you know, you got stairwells, you got a lot of different things that use green key now to change.
Yeah.
Change the system over, I don't know if it's 100, 200,000, whatever, but it's definitely an option.
Do you like have a plan? I mean, I'm assuming you do have a plan, strategically, like where you're budgeting each project. Like, do we get that? Or do
Yeah,
you
that's
do that in
called,
one
that's
sheet kind of
called a
thing?
reserve, it's in the reserve study.
Okay,
Okay, so if you go on Appfolio and if you look at the reserve study, you'll see exactly when elevator tabs are due to be refurbished, it's all laid right out for the next 35 years.
oh, great, all right.
And just remember, we pool our reserves, right? So if you're looking at individual money. And you may say, oh, that's not enough money, our reserves are cool, so we can take more money for something else than you can, it's not a specific number.
And that's what that 5 million and whatever I was telling about, that's what that, money is for, is that reserve study. And if you look at the bottom of that reserve study, you're gonna see that it is less than, we're gonna gather, money throughout the years, and it's gonna show you how much we're gonna earn every year and put into that, reserve account. So yeah, the next 35 years is all planned out, and it changes every year when we have to do a new reserve study, but it's required by the state of Florida, by the statute.
Yeah.
The only thing I wanted to bring up, I had brought up before about the water dripping from the ceiling on the first floor of the garage and breaking down the integrity. And I remember Maria saying way back when there was a warranty on that, and that was stone burners problem. But this was on the second floor on the right side. I was thinking it was the pool when it was raining, because a lot of water was coming in and somebody's nice car was parked there and it was just missing.
Yeah, unfortunately,
So-
right now, we've got the sports that are, kind of halfway, we took a lot of the paint and stuff off there, so that's where that water's coming from.
Oh, because it was a lot. I'm just thinking of
Yeah.
breaking the integrity of the
Yeah,
cement.
and the harder it rains, the more water comes through. But this is just for a short period of time, and it's not like pool water with a high chlorine content in it that's really detrimental to concrete. So I'm working on getting that ready.
You had mentioned in one of the previous meetings about possibly doing painting or something on the breezeways. Is that like a realistic?
What we're doing right now is Band-Aid patching, Jeff and
You got on the waterproofing
I'm talking about like if we just drive those breezeways and there's whole areas where
on the floor.
the floor
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah.
It's
we're slowly picking away at that.
that's
Gonna give a little
Yeah, so I
update
have-
on progress there.
We basically almost completed building 5 here, doing like a skin coat over top of most of it. We take away like the big bubbles.
Yeah.
Chip away that, so what my team is doing is we'll chip away the area, try and make it as pretty as we can. And then we'll just skin coat it with the top coat to make it all the same color. It's not fixing the problem whatsoever.
aesthetically.
But it's aesthetically
Yeah.
making it look nicer for us for the time being, until we get through this whole litigation thing.
But you're in building 5, right up here?
Yeah, we're in building 30.
Oh, 3.
That's more than it was.
So at any rate, with our team, the guys are working all day long, spread pretty thin, so we're just trying
But it is, I
to.
just wanted to know that.
We are picking on.
Yeah, we're slowly picking up.
To pay to think about hiring somebody to do it, make a project happen. I mean, they really are.
So I
This looks like that.
did have a guy come out and give us a quote for that, and he even knocked it down to, I think it was like $1.50 a square foot. For painting and to do all 4 buildings, breezeways, I think it was like roughly $70,000.
And that'd be temporary, right?
Yeah, basically what we're doing, just all at once, take like however long this team takes.
Which building you gonna do next?
Whichever one you tell me to.
We sent pictures.
I got nothing to do with that, you pick the worst building next. How's that sound?
We'll do 3 next.
3 is that? 3 it is.
All due respect, this is Ray Minturn from Tony 201. I ask people to close their eyes before they come into our condo. I mean, that the bubbling, it looks terrible. I've been thinking about just contracting someone to fix it myself. So, I mean, it's no disrespect to anybody there. We still have a few tiles there that have been damaged and broken since the hurricane. So there's enough to do. I know we're at loggerheads with Kevin relative to shared expenses, but at some point you got to fix these things, and it's kind of embarrassing, frankly. Not your fault. I couldn't hear you.
What is your unit number, please?
2201, Michael.
Thank you.
We got a letter some time ago when we were starting to end of some of these projects. It wasn't official, but it was pretty much a cease and desist from Kevin Stoner. On that he is responsible for overseeing all of this stuff, and he requested that we send him all of our documentation of plans that we were gonna do in quotes. So, I said it wasn't official from an attorney, but we were asked to stop.
Stop what?
Doing anything to the building.
Anything at all, like that painting. for
Yep.
instance.
Well, we're touching up here and there, but as far as doing anything,
You're gonna do it
to
as a
the roof
project.
or whatever, yeah. Yeah, we were asked to stop.
I apologize. The concern might be, the more you do on behalf of everyone, for everyone's benefit, then that could cause him to incur liability, his percentage, you know, I know you could argue, no, I'm supposed to do it, I don't owe you any, but there's always the possibility that a judge or jury says, yeah, he's liable, so again, work you do, money you spend, he now becomes liable for a portion of, and he wants to avoid that. So
Yeah,
that's
that's why-
why
and that-
you don't.
Kind of the reason, we're just having maintenance, just touch up some spots that look ugly.
But to the gentleman's point, he's 100% right, it does look like crap. The building painting with the stains, there's definitely, it's an eyesore. And I agree with him 100%, but we're caught in a quagmire here, because we with these government documents, which he wrote, gave him power. We don't have the power, so now we're forced to use your services, which I'm happy about, to take this all away and have a final decision made about it. And maybe get it changed to where we control the plans, but you really can't do anything because it just puts us in another situation. Like Mitch said, we're trying to do some touch ups here and there and trying to do, but that's like put lipstick on a pig. It's not really, it's not changing anything that's there, it's just trying to make it look a little better, but that's why we're in this legal battle now, and we have to, we have to see it through. Whether we like it or we don't.
Any other homeowner comments?
Was he doing the same type of setup, does anybody know, at Palazzo?
That's great.
You're breaking ground running.
Really?
I got an email
I would be shocked.
inviting me to it at 11:30.
Oh, that's-
And then there's
that's all
reception
done.
back at Sermon.
That's like usually people with shovels.
Yeah.
Chrome plated shovel. He better just stick with the steel plated.
It would be interesting to know, though, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think the people who are investing in there would like to know how nice of a
yeah,
partner he is.
what's going on behind the scenes, yeah.
I'd be shocked, maybe.
11 a.m. Right.
Again, not to interject, but I'll let you know that we made a public records request from the Department of Business and Professional Regulation for not only all the information related to Bayfront in the way of prospectus and reservation documents that they're required to file with the state and get approved, but we also did it for Palazzo. And I believe there was an interim project called Poseidon or something. Yeah, exactly. So we, again, it is part of our argument with regard to all these documents, how it's supposed to work. We asked the Department of Business and Professional Regulation to turn over all the things that he's filed over the years with regard to these projects. So if there's anything useful in that, we of course will let you all know, but
Thank you. Yeah, I think we're on Main number 4, I think, right?
Yeah, the tides.
Well, if anyone wants to go, it's at 11 a.m. on Friday. And you can meet Kevin, meet the builder, John Perry, CEO of Jacob Companies. And then you can have refreshments back at Sermon. You're all invited, I invited you.
Can we peacefully assemble?
So there was a question here about what has happened with the private villa he proposed over the garage. Yeah, I think it went to the design review board. I don't know what transpired there, but clearly lots of steps that need to happen before it would go from concept to construction. So There's been lots of plans over the years for things like expanded cabana bar and they seem to only get so far and then fizzle out.
Where is this project you wanted to do over?
Yeah,
Right,
so on the other
right,
side of the
parking
pool, there's an exposed part of the parking garage. And you would
Okay.
propose to put it on top of that and modify the parking garage so you could drive right up to it.
Okay. All right, any other homeowner comments? All right, we are gonna need a motion to adjourn.
I do that. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, yeah.